Hello and welcome back to my lesson series. Thank you for clicking on my video again. Last time we left at the selecting the right IDE, the software where we actually going to start coding, and I told you the Notepad++ or Sublime are the best choices in the industry for you to use at the moment. And when it actually comes to choose one piece of software, you need to look at the efficiency, the controls, the shortcuts, and everything. As I said, there are two choices. I personally prefer Sublime, and if you want to download, as I said, I use that because of the commands and the shortkeys it offers. And it also gives you some time auto suggestion. You don't have to memorize all PHP or CSS related native functions. Basically, you can type one first letter of the function and it gives you option and you choose from there. So that makes developers life much more easier compared to you memorize all the commands. So once you selected, obviously some people prefer to work with Notepad, they already have it, and some people are new to this video lesson, so they can choose either Notepad or Sublime. It doesn't really matter. Ultimately it's you who's gonna code everything. So I use Sublime, the first option, and it's already in my computer. But if you go onto their website, this one sublimetext.com, download, you can see there'll be a small button there to download. Similarly on Notepad's website, if you go their website, you can download for Mac, for Windows, depending on what computer you are using. So you can click and download and run in your computer. Once you run, you will be obviously if you feel any difficulty in downloading and installing the Notepad or Sublime, you can drop me a message in the comments, sorry, excuse me, comments box below, and I'll answer your questions. And before I actually start coding, because I'm going to, you guys can't wait to actually see me start coding and telling you the tags of HTML. But before I actually go into the coding side of it, I would say the HTML history, you should know the first version came in 1991, and as you can see, the second was 95, third 97, fourth 99, then 2000 XHTML, and in 2014 they developed HTML5 and CSS3, which made made the responsive nature of web pages possible as well through the media queries of the CSS. And there is a lot of work. There are millions of projects already done in HTML5 technologies. It's not the case this technology doesn't exist anymore. This still, there is lots of systems being developed or already being developed in HTML5. So there can be situations where you have to deal with old technology. Someone comes and says, I want these changes. You're not going to say change the whole HTML to Bootstrap. Rather, you're going to go and make some changes in HTML5. So you will be dealing with, even if you are dealing with Bootstrap, you'll be using 90-80% of the HTML5 elements. So this is the focus. Now, before I go on to the next slide, I show you the IDE. If you see on my screen, I already have the Sublime text editor, and it has lots of controls. You can go through and explore all the things here. But for over purposes, for learning purposes, if you download Sublime, that's the area you're gonna start coding. And when it comes to start coding, you can create any folder anywhere in your desktop or C or D drive, or depending on anywhere. But uh, as for your organization purposes, for example, some people store their work in offices, some people store in their computers, so it all depends on you. If it's a static website, you can create folder anywhere, but when it comes to PHP web pages, they don't run from anywhere. You have to put them in a XAMPP server or live PHP Linux or any other server, which is running XAMPP or MySQL database servers, which we're going to cover in detail later. But for these videos, we are all okay, good to go to create folder anywhere, and our code is going to work. I have created a basic sort of folder here on a desktop. I'm going to just delete that. Sorry. I'm going to create another one, and we can call it mysite.co.uk, or we can call it, let's make a universal.com, worldwide. So mysite.com. Once you create that folder, let's say this is going to be over practice folder, practice website, dummy website. It's not a real. When we start real project, we'll call it something, a real business, marketing agency or something. So for now, if I drop that in, and after dropping in, you can see it's coming on the left hand side and that window is empty. I can create a file here, and I can call it I can close the second window. Before I actually do anything, that's my habit of doing it. Some people do other way. They type something first and then they save. I first save the document as if you go to save and save this document as index.html. That's important. If you do not give this extension, the computer is not going to recognize the type of this file, and you cannot open or run this file to see the output. So this is very, very important. Any file you create in HTML, you must provide the extension .html, not comma, not star. It has to be a dot. And the first page of any website you make, remember, that's another point you should remember, is you should give a name, index or home. So I'm calling it index because when you put your project live on the server, by default, when people land on your website, the server crawlers, they look into the public HTML folder and they look for the index to start as a home page. So I'm going to hit save. Once I save, I'm going to tell you two things. One way is if you write, that's quite a nice way to make the HTML document structure. If you write just HTML and press, if you are on a Windows or Macintosh, you can just press tab, and as you can see, it has created all the basic structure of HTML document for you just by writing HTML and tab, and this does everything for you. Now, to save time, I'll just write HTML and tab, and I'll explain each of the element of this this basic HTML page to you quickly. Sometime you'll see it says doc type HTML, and then you have HTML starting from here and going here. I added the basic HTML structure explanation into the slides as well, which with the help of slides I'll explain you a bit more details. But first I'm gonna write something in the title. We can call it my title goes here, and in the body area of the web page I can write one h1, call it this is my test heading, and I can make another p and call it this is my test. Let's make another way. I quite like, that's why I like lorem ipsum, sorry, the Sublime. It gives you lots of shortcuts to create. If you write lorem, and if you are on a Mac or Windows and using Sublime, if you press tab, it gives you lots of text for free. This is just industry text to use as a dummy. So if I just save that and go back to my folder, as you can see, I created that folder here, and that folder is here. And if I see, if I double click on that, if you see, I can see the browser icon, Google Chrome icon as with the index. That shows this is a web file now because we give an extension HTML. So when you click on that, it opens, and as you can see, just like any website you visit, you see text and sliders and photos. For now we just have a text heading and lorem ipsum running on the page, but we created successfully our very first HTML page. So how did we create that? If you see in a HTML document, if I go back to my slides again, what I will do is I'll pause this video here, and in the next video lesson I'll explain you each of the element in detail, uh, and because I don't want to make too long videos, so let's see in the next video, and I'll explain all the basic tabs and the HTML structure of the page. Thank you for watching.